Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TTV Modcast, episode 26.
Woo!
Woohoo! Yeah,
Woo!
we're doing it again. We're doing
Woo,
26 episodes, numbers. Okay, alright, we did it. We've got that out of the way, our woohoos.
Speaking of woohoos, who are we?
I'm Wudge.
I'm Kronk.
I am.
And I'm Lego Master.
So what is today's topic, Wudge? Well, funny you should say this, Wudge. There's no topic today, Wudge. That's great, Wudge. I agree, Wudge.
Yeah, so here we go again with this experimental format, because we have, again, no real topic. I don't think I made that too clear in episode 24, but we were just kind of going wherever we wanted to with that. We had no discernible topic. And why is that? It's because topics are kind of constraining. Or rather, it's that we have a minimum cast limit of 3. We haven't had any 2-person episodes, and that's sort of the reason. But it can be hard to find topics that all of us can relate to, like even just 3 of us. So that's why we're sort of doing this, as well as just more fun.
Just out of curiosity, why do we not do, like, 2 guys talking episodes?
It's just a hard format to work with because it's a lot easier for 3 people to have a conversation than it is for 2 people. A 2-person podcast can be a little bit awkward at times.
I realize, as you're saying this, I listened to the Hello Internet podcast, and there's a whole subgenre of podcast that is 2 dudes talking. But I guess the thing about this is that since there are like 6 members, just having less than half of them on a podcast is just like, I don't know, maybe it's just not representative of the whole, something like that.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I guess in theory we could have 2-person episodes, but it just seems like we could just do that for something else. Because yeah, of course, there do exist the 2 dudes talking podcasts. I quite like listening to like Hello Internet. I don't know if I've said that before on the show, or if anyone knows what that is. It's CGP Gray's and Brady Heron of Number Files podcast, where they talk about all kinds of things, like flags and flags.
Because flags is totally the most representative thing of, like, all the topics they cover.
Yeah, I mean, it might as well be a vexillology podcast, for all you know. I like listening to podcasts.
Is that odd? Viewers of ours who are listening to a podcast right now?
There's certain types of podcasts I like to listen to, which is just people talking, but not where it's like a scripted sort of radio broadcast almost. Sometimes there can be like things that are called podcasts, but they're more like a bundle of interviews, essentially, just layered over and like highly edited. Like, I just like freeform people talking. And as I say that, I'm like, well, maybe I'm a hypocrite because I do highly edit this show.
It still comes from the base of freeform.
We're not scripted or anything.
No. We are not scripted.
Sure we're not.
What is that? I can't read that. Hold on. Wait.
I misspelled that. Let me edit the Google Doc right now.
Yeah, so, like I was saying, this is not scripted.
Yes. Thank you for that, slime.
Back to you, Jim.
You guys suck at reading your lines.
Yeah, we're amateurs.
It comes from the base of us talking, and yeah, it is edited, but correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the vast majority of what you cut out just pauses and people going, and
Yeah, and ideas or phrases that don't really come out right.
Or like when I do this.
Thanks. Yeah.
or you know when I last night. I was calling out Meso. Anyone remember that episode?
What episode was that? I might have missed
Man,
that.
I haven't listened to a podcast in so long.
Yeah, it was a really old episode of TTV, like way before G2. And Meso was trying to tell a story, but no one was listening, and so he thought that he was cutting out, so he said, last night.
Oh, gosh.
Then they all started busting out laughing. It was great.
Getting back to the podcast thing, I think that it's really about the dynamic between the hosts, like regardless of the format, because you can even have a podcast that is very scripted and that just has a very strong idea of where exactly it needs to go and it wants to go. But if you have people who can just really easily engage in conversation together and have these interactions together that are not just like informative and like they're able to articulate their ideas well, but they're also able to be entertaining at the same time, that's when podcasting really works, I think. And I've listened to a couple of Two Dudes Talking podcasts in various fandoms, and I've heard some really good ones and some really bad ones. But I guess it's also a matter of preference, because sometimes you'll just not resonate or you'll not click with the hosts that you're hearing. You'll just be like, and it's a good podcast, but I'm not really feeling it, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Would you consider the Game Grumps as a Two Dudes Talking podcast? I mean, like, yeah, I know that they do Let's Plays, and that's, like, their thing, but, like, when you really break down their videos, how much of it is really talking about the game?
The Let's Plays that I like to watch are more like podcasts, where the game really isn't the central focus, and I think that format works. If you wanted to watch the game like a walkthrough, you could just, watch a walkthrough that's like silent. So I think Let's Plays are essentially podcasts. I mean, I guess it's just a different form of it.
Certain Let's Plays. I'd say certain Let's Play. I wouldn't say all Let's Plays are podcasts.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. But what if I just threw up gameplay on the screen? Now okay, look at that. I'm doing a thing. That's totally me right there.
It's gameplay of that game that everyone likes, right? That game.
Look at me. I'm shooting or slashing a sword
pew,
or
pew,
something.
Pew. I'm throwing my daggers. Throwing them.
I'm in space. There's dinosaurs in space. Look at that.
Oh,
whoa.
Wow. Look at those dinosaurs in space. It's a dinosaur laser party. But yeah, it's like, to a certain extent, you can't just say that it's solely a podcast because there is interaction with the video games.
It's supposed to varying degrees. A lot of the times the games are just like a backdrop to the audio, but I suppose there are ones that are like more attuned with what's going on screen. There's a lot more reactionary stuff. Like, I don't know. I think there's a mix of both.
I guess it really depends on the game that the person is playing, because some games are very reactionary. Like, I guess something like someone playing Five Nights at Freddy's, they don't really have the chance to talk about anything else than their reactions, I'm guessing, right?
I don't know. I've never watched Five Nights Freddy's Let's Play because I think the game is trash.
Have you guys watched Minecraft Let's Plays before?
No. And by no, I mean yes.
I remember being really into Rooster Teeth's Minecraft Let's Plays. For a long time, I'd watch a bunch of them. I think I stopped after Ray Narvaez left, because he was like my favorite host guy, and I was like, I don't know, whenever key members of something leave, I'm like, I'm not really that interested in the thing, even though there's still other members, and they're pretty cool or funny, because like, I remember that same thing happening with another podcast that I used to listen to, which was the Side Scrollers podcast from Screw Attack. One of their members, Pro Jared, he was part of Screw Attack for the longest time, and he would be a regular cast member on the Side Scrollers podcast, but then when he had to leave, or when he wanted to leave, rather, I don't know, it's kind of ambiguous if he was fired, or if he just, like, left of his own volition. But yeah, it's like, I was just kind of done with the Side Scrollers podcast after Jared left. And now I'm just kind of done with Screw Attack because they have gone into full marketing pandering mode. Every video is just like so explicit about, hey, like, comment, subscribe, do this. And it's like, need to get 3 million subs, man. Come on, they're not enough. It's kind of painful because they weren't always like that. I don't know why that sort of thing happens, I guess just to make more monies, mayonnaise.
At what point do you guys think stuff like that, whether it be in YouTube or podcasting or other internet mediums, at what point do you think that becomes too much? Like, kind of the marketing or the desire for, popularity becomes too prevalent and starts to impact the content?
I'd say a turning point would be when you have 3 plugs throughout the entirety of an episode, all of which break the flow of the content, and when you have a commercial at the beginning of the episode that everyone hates, but you refuse to take it down because for whatever reason you seem like you really need to use that, and you seem to get really upset when people say that they dislike it, and I'm totally not calling anyone out here or anything like that. No.
You're not talking about anyone specific though, Slime. Definitely not.
No, of course not. No.
Not calling anyone out that might have acronyms.
It's not like anyone from TTV watches this podcast anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Not saying this as like a TTV is terrible, down with TTV. Like, I work for TTV. They're great. They're fun. But like, there's a point when there's too much. Like, it's perfectly fine. You can run a company and be professional without all of that. I don't even know what to call it. Bad
deadpan marketing.
Yeah, like
look at Game Grumps.
I was just about to say, every single time, what they do is they interject a commercial at the beginning of the episode. And I see a commercial, I'm not like, another commercial. I'm like, oh, another commercial, yay! Because they're like little skits and they're like fun and they're funny. And it's like, I'm actually genuinely excited when a new commercial comes on. Whereas, with like, you have the same exact commercial every time, fine, whatever. With Vars Audible, what became iconic to the point where now pretty much all of us can say, go to audible.com/TTV to get a free audiobook of your choosing. We recommend Brick by Brick, How Lego Rewrote the Result Innovation and Conquered the Global Toy Industry. You may recognize it as one of the starts we use in our show, Bionicle Autopsy. Remember, that's audibletrial.com/TTV. Enjoy the show. That was so iconic, and now Little Johnny showed up. Little Johnny was bad. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily mind if it was commercials within the episode. If you didn't plug during the episode, you just had another commercial like mixed in there. Like you have Little Johnny at the beginning, and then you have Vars Audible in the middle, and then like at the end you have another one or something like that, where it's like real radio, where you have commercials in the middle of your stuff. That'd be fine.
Yeah, actually, like, with the Hello Internet podcast, they have little sound effects to, like, denote whenever they're gonna go into an ad, and then whenever they're gonna go out of the ad, there's another little transition sound effect. I mean, I think that really works.
Yeah, it really helps to kind of let the podcast flow along, and even as kind of section breaks as a way to sort of say, oh, hey, we're transitioning to a different or new topic. Waj, I feel like we should get something like that.
Okay, so I've been thinking about that. I don't know. I need to find some good sound effects to use.
Can I suggest a sound effect?
Oh, boy.
This is when we're changing topics.
Oh gosh.
When we're about to transition to a commercial, we'll go.
Slime, please.
Okay, those were two different sounds there. First you made this, like, throw-up sound, then you did a cat screaming or something.
It sounds like a cat vomiting. That's what it sounds like. So basically, both of them are vomiting sounds. Good job, Slime.
If anyone from TTV happens to listen to this, which if you do, thanks. That's really nice. I don't mean this in a way of overstepping my bounds or anything like that. This is just legitimate constructive criticism. Those are my feelings. And, I'll be honest, I haven't listened to the podcast in a while. So, I don't know, maybe some of these issues have been resolved. But yeah, that's just my thoughts.
They still have the same ad problem. They have said in the past that, like, oh, if you have better ideas, we'll listen to them. It's like, I think the thing about it is that their ads could be, like...
less abrasive?
Yeah, or less corporate, I guess, is the word. I don't know. It just feels like they have no soul.
Oh, gosh.
But no, yeah, I totally get what you're saying there, because, like...
not unlike their top 10s.
In before Waj gets fired next week.
Oh, snap. I went there. Like, I became an editor, a video editor, for TTV, specifically for their top 10s. So, the first one I did was the top 10 Ninjago locations. So, I edited that, and maybe I don't want to rant about it, but I just think they're such low-effort videos to make. Not to say, like, the format of a top 10 just alone is less difficult to make than other videos, but the way that they approach making it, it's clear that it's not like their primary focus in terms of quality. Like, they just kind of put it out there because it's the thing that all YouTubers do, because they make all those views, man. Gotta get them views, because list videos just do that. It's like, oh, if it has numbers in the title, if it's like a countdown, I'ma watch it.
You know what they need to start doing? They need to start, like, putting circles and arrows and everything in their thumbnails and whatnot.
That's gonna, like, quadruplify their
yeah, I know.
We should do that. Just this episode is
That's
just
hilarious.
nothing but circles and arrows.
What are we gonna call this? Like, pandering to the masses. Top 10 reasons why.
Top 10 reasons why we shouldn't do top 10s.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 10, they suck. Number 7, they're awful. Number 8, they're great. Number 10, they're awful. Number 27, help.
In all seriousness, like, about the whole top 10 thing, like, I personally don't really have a problem with TTV doing top 10s because it doesn't really interfere with, like, their other content. And it's really a situation where, like, you don't like what's popping up in your subscription feed, you don't have to watch it. Even though I personally do not like the format of top 10s at all, I think that they're, for the most part, I wouldn't say a waste of time, but they just, most of the time, don't contain any new or interesting or just constructive information whatsoever, or entertaining even information whatsoever.
The Lego Master come on. What about this amazing 107 facts about this TV show, Channel Federator?
The problem is that anything that I have enough of an interest in to click on a top 10 video for, because of the fact that I'm interested enough to click on the video, I probably already know like half the stuff that's going to be in the video because I am interested enough to click on it. To reiterate, I don't have a problem with channels like TTV or any other like multi-content channel that puts out top 10s because some people like them and there's nothing wrong with them.
I think the way that TTV approaches the process of making it, it's definitely clear. Because, like, I finished making mine in, like, 2 days, basically. It's not an intensive process. It is a slideshow. I don't want to overly criticize them for things, because, like, I do like their content for the most part. I don't know. It just kind of makes me annoyed that they aren't putting their all into, like, all facets of their stuff. Like, even the way that they are talking in the top 10 just seems almost robotic.
The narration in some of the top 10s isn't the best, but I don't know, maybe it's because I tend to be overly positive about stuff, but if the top 10s are allowing them to finance some of the other videos they're doing and just allow them to have the resources to increase quality and to make more stuff across the board and everywhere.
On the topic of top 10s, I guess a kind of a pseudo way that I really enjoy is Did You Know Gaming, which, like a top 10, presents facts in a quick and somewhat simplified way, but isn't constrained to 10 examples and is also a lot more engaging.
I do appreciate the Did You Know Gaming format. One top 10 channel that I really do like is Lemino. He does this like top 10 facts series, but from viewing them, it's very clear that he puts a whole lot of effort into making any of his videos. There's real effort put into like the graphic design and animation of whatever point or fact that he's presenting. There's just a whole lot of thought that went into making that video. I guess that could just be broadly applicable to any kind of content, really. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you put a whole lot of effort into a thing, well, I guess there's really two parts to it. There's like style and the whole substance thing. It's like you don't have to have great production qualities to make a good thing. You don't need a super duper amount of like the latest and greatest and most expensive camera or video equipment around to make a thing. Like you can just use like an internal microphone and talk. And if your thing is interesting, maybe people will watch it. Who knows?
Yeah, but I don't know about that, honestly. Like, I think that, take for example YouTube. YouTube is an incredibly saturated, hyper-competitive landscape. And that's a place where I feel like if you don't have that edge of something about you that makes you, like, stand out, and very often that kind of goes hand in hand with just, like, if you don't have good production quality that makes people say, like, oh, this person is, like, halfway serious, and he's on the same level as all of this other established content that I'm already watching, then, you know, it's just a lot easier for people to get into it. And this isn't really the same thing, but I think that a similar thing applies to mocks in the sense that a good mock can really be marred by bad photos, whereas really good photography can make a mediocre mock stand out a lot more than it would normally. Good photography can make a decent mock great. Bad photography can make a decent mock pretty terrible.
You see a lot of topics on Steve, the Hot Topic Bar, whose name is not officially Steve, but who I call Steve. You look at the mocks on them, and for the most part, anything that is a mock has some really good photography on it, and that's because even if a mock isn't great, if the photography is good, then people will like it because it makes it look a lot more professional, even though if it's like a horrible mock.
I'd say that photography is like 50% of mock presentation.
Conoclair, could you please tell us, what is this? Why is this?
I honestly don't know. I saw mac and cheese and Cheetos and pizza, and I was instantly interested. Basically, it's mac and cheese sprinkled with more cheese and completed with Cheeto dust crust.
Cheeto dust crust. Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's fun to say. Dust crust, dust crust, dust crust.
This looks so bad for you, but I want to eat it so much.
Why didn't they just put a whole bunch of Cheetos? Like actual Cheetos? Why just the dust crust? What is dust crust?
Dust crust is like when you take the Cheeto and you crush it up, and then you've got a dust.
But
And
why
that's
would
easier
you
to
eat
work with
that?
than using full Cheetos.
Because people like coughing on their crust, obviously.
This reminds me of the mac and Cheeto that was at Burger King a while back.
What?
Earlier this year.
Oh, that. Oh, gosh.
I contemplated getting one and recording myself eat it because I'm a sellout like that. But yeah, it was essentially a big Cheeto that was filled with mac and cheese.
Ew.
What? Is that like pasta?
It looks to me,
Yes.
it almost looks like
Cheeto?
chicken nuggets that are
What?
filled with macaroni instead of chicken. But it's not. because
Yeah,
it's like,
kind of like, it looks like a bread, sort of like...
yeah, they
I don't
really
know,
look
not
breaded.
like chicken...
You know, I came across Burger King the other day, and I was really tempted to get those.
Slime, what's the
Oh, they still have
the
them?
texture like?
I don't know. I didn't try them. I was contemplating and doing it a lot of times, but then it seemed like they took it off the menu.
Yeah, they did. A lot of people were saying it's really unhealthy and whatnot, so I guess they took it off or something.
But you know what they have now? They have Cheetos chicken fries.
Oh yeah, that totally helps.
It's fried chicken, but instead of like breaded, whatever they put on fried chicken, it's Cheetos. Cheeto dust.
So it's like cheesy breaded chicken instead of just regular breaded chicken, basically.
It's Cheeto breaded chicken.
I mean, from what I know, it's like Americans deep fry everything. That's all I know.
That is true.
Is there a deep fried Cheetos? Is that a thing?
You know, I bet if
surely
you will
it's
go
a
to
thing.
like a United States State Fair, you'll probably find
Okay,
one.
what is it with state fairs and deep fried stuff?
I don't know, but it's so expensive.
To be honest, I haven't really experienced much of it just because where I live in the Northeast, there isn't a whole lot of deep southern, we're gonna fry everything up and dip it in the deep fat fryer and then fry it again. There's not really a whole lot of that, but like, I don't know. I don't really honestly know what it is about deep frying it that makes it so appealing. I have seen deep fried pickles before, as well as deep
What?
fried Oreos.
Okay,
deep
those are
fried Oreos?
You gotta try them.
That's actually a fairly common thing as far as state fairs go.
That is
Whoa.
weird. Like, I'm not opposed to eating deep fried stuff. Like, whenever I go to a sushi place, I have, like, deep fried vegetables, like broccoli, and I find those to be pretty good. But Oreos? I can't comprehend why anyone would want to eat a deep fried Oreo.
I feel like there's no nutritional value in this. It's just like sugar.
There's, like, negative
Yeah.
nutritional value.
It's just like sugar and fat and a lot more sugar. That's all they are. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
that's
that's
a lot
what
of
it is.
food.
That's how state fairs get your money.
Yeah, America. Come on.
Exactly.
Are state fairs like a yearly thing, or is it
Yes,
like they happen
they're
once every
yearly.
year?
They usually
Yeah,
happen in the
it's
summer,
usually
too.
it's usually an annual.
Okay, because I would not want to like have the temptation of eating like that every week or something like that. That would just be.
Oh,
that
don't
would be
worry.
bad.
You can actually go to restaurants and find that too.
Oh, great.
Before we wrap up, I was Googling deep fried stuff. I found a deep fried pizza burger.
Oh,
Oh my
that
gosh.
sounds so bad for you, but delicious.
I can just picture a bunch of people in a board meeting thinking like, okay, what are the most unhealthy foods we can come up with? And let's see how many we can feasibly stick together and then just throw them all in a deep fryer. That really sounds like what some of this stuff is.
Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you again, hopefully.
And
next
if you like
time,
this video,
maybe.
make sure to like it,
And-
comment, favorite, and subscribe.
Goodbye, everyone.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.